Hello, Tar Heel Nation. Welcome back to another episode of UNC Hoops Talk podcast. This is Dan DeWitt coming at you, and glad to be back. Exciting week, couple of big wins for the Tar Heels. If you didn't see, we beat Florida State and Syracuse on Saturday and Monday. Obviously, we'll be talking about that in this podcast and looking at who's playing well, what we're doing well, and of course what's coming up next for the Tar Heels in the next week or two. So so excited for you to be listening, watching, wherever you're taking this in. Just glad that you are, and hope that it's enjoyable to you. Hope you'll join the conversation of uniting Tar Heel Nation. That's my goal. If you're not connected with me already, all the links to do that are in the description. Email, Twitter, Snapchat, anything like that. Love to connect with you and connect you with other Tar Heel fans. If you're looking for something like that, I can hook that up. So let me know, and we'll do it. Thanks for the support of watching, sharing, subscribing, all that good stuff. But let's jump in and get into what you're really here for, and that is to talk about the game. So on Saturday, the Tar Heels welcomed the Seminoles into Chapel Hill, into the Dean Smith Center. And I believe we were ranked, well, it's different for different rankings, obviously different places, but I think it was like we were both right around 9 and 11. We were surprisingly favored by 7.5 points in this game. I thought it would be closer, and I actually said I would take the Seminoles to cover that. I wasn't going to predict a winner. I thought this one could kind of go either way. Thought we probably had the advantage because we are at home. They're not coming off a tough loss or anything like that. They got a streak going. Hopefully we can kind of catch them a little bit. But I did think it would be closer to 7. That's why I'm not a betting man. I would not have won that bet, as we beat the Seminoles 96-83. Very fun game to watch. Kind of like, I said this after the Kentucky game. Even though we lost that game, it was a lot of fun to watch. It was, this is the same way. It was just really enjoyable to watch this game. Whether you were a fan of either of these teams, I think it would have been fun. Obviously, it's more fun to be involved and have a dog in the fight. But a lot of fun. Of course, it's even more fun when we do win. We held some of their big guys or top guys, at least reasonable. Dwayne Bacon, who's gone off on the Tar Heels a time or two, only had 18, was 3 for 8 from 3, so that's good. Xavier Rathan-Mays, their point guard, we held to just 6 points, had 6 assists, but also had 5 turnovers. Their big guy, Ojo, just 4 points, and that's really about it. Doesn't show any rebound. I don't know if that's right or not. Played 14 minutes, no rebounds, a couple of blocks, but pretty ineffective against us. Jonathan Isaac, I believe he's a freshman, big-time freshman. He did shoot the ball really well, had a double-double, 17 points, 12 rebounds. He played really well, looked really good. But again, we'll take 17 points from that. We're used to guys going off for 30, 40, whatever against us. So, and for us, pretty, I don't know, I say balanced, but it's not like we had 6 guys with double figures in scoring or anything like that. But it was kind of balanced, and I think that our rotation, obviously by the time we get to ACC, it usually is kind of shortened. The bench is kind of shortened. We know the rotation guys know their roles now. It's not Roy trying to figure it out like he is in the non-conference and early season games. And I think at least for the starters, at least for Isaiah is the main one I'll say here, is he's coming into it. He's finding his niche. He's stayed out of foul trouble in these couple of games, or at least mostly. Was really aggressive and had a couple of good games here with Florida State and Syracuse. So Joel Berry actually led the way, 26 points, 3 threes, 7 for 8 from the free throw line. Only 1 assist for him, but played 35 minutes and played well. Again, we know how important he is and how good of a player he's been this year. And then we had Isaiah Hicks and Justin Jackson, both 22 points. Isaiah was just super aggressive, especially to start the game. Really aggressive. He ended up with 7 rebounds, 4 of them offensive. He was 12 for 14 from the free throw line. If he can knock down his free throws like that and get there that many times, or even three-quarters of that many times. That's going to be good for us. Obviously, 22 points, shot 5 for 7 from the field, a really good percentage, and that's only in 22 minutes. So only 3 fouls in this. As we said, his fouls are something we got to be watching now. Justin Jackson, 29 minutes for his 22 points, but shot 9 for 17, 3 for 5 from the three-point line. Only 4 rebounds in this, but that is something he is doing better as of late, is rebounding. Kennedy Meeks did have some foul trouble, only up with 6 points, 6 rebounds in 13 minutes. But Theo Pinson picked up, and remember, this is the first game we played without Tony Bradley, as he got the concussion against whoever, Wake Forest, that we played before this, and missed Florida. He actually missed both these games, and that was a thing. We did not have enough fouls going around as far as big guys go, and so Theo played a lot of time at the 4 spot, which is why he ended up with 10 rebounds to go along with his 12 points. Kind of a breakout game coming back for Theo. He's 5 for 6 from the free throw line. His first field goal was a monster dunk coming down the lane. If you haven't checked, if you haven't seen that, go to Twitter, go to Vine, whatever, check it out. But if you're a Tar Heel fan, you're listening to this, I'm sure you've seen that. Ended up with a 3 as well. Like I said, 12 points, 10 rebounds in 24 minutes for Theo. Was really big, even above those stats, energy-wise, defense, the kind of things we knew Theo would bring and that we missed with Theo being out. And then Luke May got, obviously 25 minutes because Tony Bradley's not there, because Meeks was in foul trouble, and only gave us 2 points, gave us 4 turnovers. There was one stretch, I think it was this game, where it was 4 possessions in a row that I thought he hurt. I was like, get him out, get him out, get him out. 4 possessions in a row that he hurt us, but he did give us 15 rebounds. And so, he was 1 for 6 shooting, whatever. That's not what we're looking for from Luke May. If he can get us 15 rebounds, he can get those minutes, especially with Tony out, with Kennedy in foul trouble. At one point in this game, we were playing Theo at the 5, Justin at the 4, and then I think we had Kenny, Joel, and Nate in, or something like that. But we were really small, which probably threw them off a little bit. But yeah, if Luke May can get 15 rebounds, hope even if he takes some of those minutes away, he plays 18 minutes and he gets 10 rebounds. I mean, that's good production that we're getting from Luke, and I won't harp on him too much if we can get that kind of production out of him. We did have 15 turnovers in this game. That's something, again, we've been kind of watching. We've had too many turnovers. Out rebounded on 56-34, which we know is huge, and everybody's talking about it now. But our offensive rebounds, 21 offensive rebounds in this game, huge for us. It's extra possessions, extra points that you just don't get otherwise. So that's huge for us. And yeah, like I said, fun game. We kind of pulled away, 13, not a blowout by any means, a couple of threes and they'd be back in it or whatever. But, played pretty good defense to not allow that. And that's what we need. That's, again, we've said it on this podcast before. Our offense is going to come from our defense. It's all started from that. So if we're scoring 96, that also means we are contesting shots. We are rebounding like we know we can and like we should, and that's going to be good for our offense. So big time win over a team that was on top of the ACC coming into this game, gave them their first ACC loss. And now, before we even jump into the Syracuse game, take a look at the ACC standings. Notre Dame still is undefeated. They're 5-0. We still got a couple weeks till we'll see them. They more than likely won't be undefeated still. It would be sweet to kind of play them undefeated in the conference, but that also means they haven't lost. And, the more losses everybody else can take, the better our chances are of winning the ACC, getting that 1 seed in the tournament, getting the 1 seed in the NCAA tournament. So you don't necessarily have to cheer for that, but it would be fun to give them their first loss as well. But good team that Mike Bray's got up there. They're at the top of the ACC, and then us and Florida State are the other 1-loss teams. And then the other teams that are above 500 in the conference are Louisville, Virginia, and Georgia Tech are all 3-2. So, Georgia Tech, that loss we took, still really bad. But, they got 3 wins in this conference, so it doesn't hurt as bad if they can keep around 500, whatever. It won't hurt us nearly as bad as what we thought it would. And then the 500 team, Syracuse, is 3-3, and this is after we beat them. It's not going into the Syracuse game or whatever. But Miami's 2-2. Duke's those are only 500 teams, and then the 2 and 3 teams in the conference are Duke, Virginia Tech, Boston College, and obviously we got Boston College coming up next. We'll talk about that game in a little bit, but Duke struggling without Emil Jefferson. Harry Giles not playing like he was ranked, and a lot slower coming back from that injury than people thought he would be, especially defensively. And again, you kind of have to. I don't know. I don't feel bad for Duke at all, the talent they have, but it's pretty obvious that with him missing those early season, the non-conference game, even the practices in the preseason, he just doesn't know how to defend a pick and roll. It gets a lot more complex. I played high school ball, whatever. You can say, pick and roll. You switch it or you help. You hedge, whatever the strategy is. But it's a lot more complicated than that when you get to the college level, especially the high college level. And he just has not figured it out. Teams are pick and rolling him every time. I mean, Jeff Capel, who we know is in there for Coach K right now, is having to take him out on defense. He's a liability on defense right now. He hasn't figured it out. So, Duke really struggling without Emil Jefferson. I think they're going to be okay, but obviously it helps our chances a lot more with Virginia to have 2 losses already, Duke to have 3 losses already. And I think I said it on this podcast already, but Ken Pom, who does a bunch of the predictive analytics, predicted for us, Virginia and Duke, to tie for the whatever you want to say, the top of the ACC with, I think he said 6 losses. I think we can get through the ACC here yet with less than 6 losses. I know our schedule is very bottom heavy or late heavy, however you're going to say that. The end of our schedule gets much more difficult than what we've gone through and what we will go through here in the next couple of weeks. Late February, early March, our ACC schedule is brutal. But I do think we can get through it without, taking 5 more losses in the league. So, I don't think that's going to be the case. And if they get there, obviously, we'd like our chances to win the ACC better. And that's, of course, what we want. But, we had Syracuse come into Chapel Hill as well on Monday. Their zone is always a little bit different. It definitely makes us shoot more threes than I would like, I think, than Roy would like. Really everybody. It kind of lulls them and tempts them into taking those outside shots. We did a great job. First half looked really good. Looked like we were in control. We were getting it inside. We were rebounding. The offensive rebounds were hurting them. Kennedy, Isaiah, both really aggressive on the boards, and everybody pounded into the high post, getting it into the low post from there, and scoring. We were up, I think, 15. I think it was 45. No, what was it? 42-30, I think, halftime. So, double-digit lead at least. Come out in the second half. We let them come back in. Did they take the lead? I don't think they took the lead, but they got it down really close, within 3 at least, maybe even 2 before. I think it was our defense again that really stepped up. They missed some shots. They had like a dunk they missed. There was a lot of stuff they missed. And maybe it's fatigue as they're not as deep playing that zone as we are. Tyler Lydon for them shot the ball really well, 11 for 14, had 26 points. Again, played 39 out of the 40 minutes, so could be fatigue for them a little bit. But again, you got to give our defense some credit. We were really good. I don't know that we had a bunch of fast break points, but we really worked that zone well, got it inside, didn't settle for the threes. We were 7 for 24 from 3, which is worse than they were. They were 10 for 24. So we did get to the line, 15 times. Again, over double as many as they did, but 8 for 15 from the free throw line. But remember that Florida State game, obviously more possessions because it was up and down, but Isaiah himself was at the free throw line 14 times in that game. Joel Berry did not shoot any free throws in this game, which is not good when you're 92% free throw shooter. Isaiah, again, was 4 for 4. Like I said, again, he was really aggressive in this game as well. He led the way, 20 points. He had 8 rebounds, shot 8 for 13 from the field. Kennedy was big, and we mentioned Kennedy only played 13 minutes in the previous game, the Florida State game. Ended up with 32 minutes in this game. And I think Roy even said in the post game, he told him, "Yeah, you should be healthy. You should be rested because you only played 13 minutes the previous game." And he came out and he did really well. Another double-double, 15 points, 12 rebounds, 6 of those offensive rebounds. Shot 7 for 10 from the field. Justin Jackson continued to be strong, 19 points. He had 10 rebounds as well. 5 of his were offensive. He shot 8 for 19 from the field. Was just 2 for 8 from the three-point line. And again, that's them tempting you into those threes and long jumpers. But Joel Berry, 10 points. Again, 1 assist really is something he's got to work on. The zone does have something to do with that because you work the ball around longer than him making a play and dishing it off, whatever. But Kenny Williams, 6.4 assists for him. Off the bench, Theo, a very hit last game he had bigger stats, but this one was probably more of a stat stuffer. 7 points, 5 rebounds, 3 of his were offensive, 5 assists, no turnovers, played 14 minutes. Found Isaiah quite a bit with throwing the ball over the top of the zone, some passes that other guys probably wouldn't make or couldn't make. And then Luke May, again, gave him credit in the last one. Didn't have any rebounds in this one, which is crazy to go from 15 to 0. That hurts the average there, Luke. Come on now. But he did have eight points. Man, easy for me to say. Was 4 for spot. All right, hold up here. 4 for 5 shooting. And it, to me, it's because he can step away a little bit. He was hitting that 15, 18-footer, at the top of the free throw line, and extended that kind of stuff. But like I said, we've kind of closed down our bench here. We had our starters. Kennedy, 32 minutes. Isaiah, 30 minutes. Justin Jackson, 33 minutes. Joel Berry, 31 minutes. Kenny Williams, 27 minutes. That's our starters there. And then off the bench, we got Nate Britt with 12 minutes, Theo Pinson 14 minutes, and then Luke May with 13 minutes. And then after that, it's Seventh Woods with 3 minutes, and the rest of the guys with 1. Which Brandon Robinson, I don't know, it surprises me and it doesn't surprise me. He's not getting as many minutes as Seventh Woods, which surprises me a little bit. So I thought he was doing better, but obviously Seventh Woods is the ball handler. Roy likes to have all those ball handlers ready, but he isn't strong enough. So it surprised me a little bit, but it also doesn't at the same time, if that makes sense. That he's not getting the minutes. But obviously we're missing Tony Bradley again in this game. I'm gonna get this straightened out, guys. I'm not gonna struggle all day. But yeah, obviously that would take probably a few minutes from Kennedy and Isaiah. Definitely take some of Luke's minutes. But if we could, if those guys could stay out of foul trouble, and that's the other thing we did in this game, probably again because of the zone. We didn't really draw any charges, I don't think, that we gave up. But Kennedy had 2 fouls, Isaiah 0 fouls, which I think somebody said it's the first time he's ever scored 20 and had 0 fouls. And then Luke May 2, so that's our big guys. Theo led the team with 3 fouls, so no foul trouble whatsoever in this game. But if we could play this way, where there's nobody losing minutes because of foul trouble, we could bring Kennedy down to like even 28 minutes. I don't know that we want to take Isaiah off that 30 at all. Maybe 1 or 2. That's 6 minutes that could go to Tony Bradley. Take about half of Luke's minutes away. You got 12 to 15 minutes for Tony and 6 to 8 minutes for Luke and the rest of the guys there. So I think that would be ideal. Obviously, Luke maybe fit a little bit better in this game because he could hit that free throw jumper, a little bit farther away from that and spread that zone out a little bit. But good win, 85-68 is what we did finally end up winning this game at. Big game because it's Roy Williams' 800th victory. Obviously, that counts his time at Kansas. But nice little celebration for Roy, even though he didn't want to talk about it after the game. He was all about the 17th win for this team. But the team got shirts that said 800 on it. They gave Roy a plaque with a jersey with 800 on it, signed by the team, and then they got Michael Jordan had not only donated 800 of those shirts that could be bought, which you better hurry if you want to get that. It's probably sold out already, but some of those shirts in the team shop, and then also donated or gave to Roy some signature MJ shoes, them silver or platinum, whatever they call them, MJ shoes signed by Michael Jordan. You can go watch the YouTube video on Go Heels YouTube channel, but Brandon Robinson just goes nuts over them, which I'm sure those are worth some money. Those are obviously limited to only one pair, but pretty sweet, pretty awesome for Roy to get that 800th win. And yeah, for this team to keep rolling, it was a good solid win against kind of a different style of play. And, we took care of business. Moving on here, 5-game winning streak now, starting with that overtime win at Clemson after the Georgia Tech. That's the thing. If we would have not lost to Georgia Tech, let's see, it would have been 6, 7, 8 wins since that Kentucky loss. But as it stands, we're at 5 wins in the conference, 5-1, obviously in the ACC. And that's with us going to Boston College here this coming Saturday. Obviously, Boston College doesn't necessarily worry me, but what does worry me, it's in Boston College, similar to the Georgia Tech game. It's a 12 noon Eastern tip, similar to Georgia Tech. It's not on ESPN, not on CBS. It says ACC Network. Excuse me. So if you don't get that, it's probably going to be the Watch ESPN app that you're going to have to watch it on. It's that early tip, kind of morning stuff where the crowd's maybe not great, or if it is, obviously it's in Boston College, it's going to be for them, but not a big time game to get our guys hyped, and the morning, early afternoon game, maybe not fully awake, whatever. Hopefully Roy kind of lights a fire in them. They're ready for this one, but that's what really worries me. Obviously we could beat Boston College, we know that we should beat Boston College, but we'll see how we respond to that early tip time. And then I'm not sure if I'm going to make a podcast this coming week, because if I did, it would probably be just the Boston College game and then previewing Virginia Tech Miami. And I feel like I can do that now and take care of it and maybe take a week off. You guys would be okay with that, right? We'll see. If not, let me know in the comments below or on Twitter. But then we would go to Virginia Tech comes to Chapel Hill Thursday, January 26th. That's an 8 p.m. Eastern tip on ESPN. And then the following Saturday, the 28th, kind of a quick turnaround again, kind of what we had with Florida State Syracuse here, Thursday to Saturday. But we go to Miami, which we have had trouble playing in Miami. And that's a 1 p.m. Eastern tip. So not quite as early, but still fairly early game. And that one will be on CBS on that Saturday against Miami, or in Miami. And yeah, we'll definitely have a podcast before that Pittsburgh game here that next week. So that's what's coming up. We'll see if we got a podcast coming here. Again, I've said the worries that I had with Boston College, Virginia Tech, very solid team. Obviously, we know they took down Duke, who wasn't fully healthy. Hopefully, because we're at home, we can take care of business there. But Buzz Williams definitely has them going, and then Miami has been solid as well. Even though they're 2-2 right now in the ACC, solid athletic team that we definitely have to be aware of and ready to play there before we get Pittsburgh, and then it would be Notre Dame. I did work it out if we keep winning, and obviously if Notre Dame does as well, we would be 8-1 at that time we played Notre Dame, and obviously they'd be undefeated if they didn't lose. That game still to be announced as far as tip time, so that would obviously make it prime time if we're only have one loss for the top 2 teams in the ACC there. And then following Notre Dame, we go to Duke, and if we could win all those games, that would be a 10-game winning streak we'd be taking into Duke. So it's coming. We're right in the middle now of ACC season, and college basketball, all the college football is done. NFL is into their playoffs, so it's not as many games. Pretty much 2 games this weekend, and then so 3 games of the NFL left. only a couple weekends of that. So everybody's starting to pay attention to college basketball now. So we need to pick it up here and show people what we can do now that they're watching, especially when we're on prime time and playing these big games. But it's an exciting time of year. It's what we want now, and we got to be ready and willing to take advantage of every opportunity we have here to win the ACC and get that top seed in the NCAA tournament. I think that's all I got for you guys again this week. Just double checking my notes here. Again, if you are a fan of this podcast, I appreciate you even watching, and that's definitely enough. But if there's anything else you want to do, share it out to your friends, your family, your Tar Heel friends, even on Twitter. Just share it and say, hey, give it a listen. Leave it a review in iTunes. Subscribe on YouTube, wherever it is. Subscribe so that you get it as quick as you can, because I'm not always consistent with what day I go because of the day. Obviously, the schedules change of what day the games are on. So share it, review it, subscribe to it, all that good stuff. If there's more that you want to do, go to patreon.com/UNC Hoops Talk. It's patreon.com/UNC Hoops Talk, and you can support it with $1 a month if you want, if you feel like that's something you'd like to do, or if you'd like to improve the quality, because all that money is put right into the production of this podcast. And I appreciate you guys so much just for listening. That's definitely just enough for me. I just do this to unite Tar Heel Nation because I love talking Tar Heel basketball with anybody. So again, connect with me on social media, wherever you're at. And I don't want to waste any more of your time. So that's all I got here. This is Dan DeWitt signing off. Until next week, or at least next time, go Heels.